I don't know a single just average Joe that's ever invested a significant amount of money in any of these startups and even gotten their money back. Hi, my name's Devin. Today I own several multi-million-dollar companies. We started with $5,000 in a credit card. I don't know the easy way. I only know the hard way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard Entrepreneur podcast, where I give straightforward advice to fuel the entrepreneur in all of us. Today I want to talk about investing. And so I think this is great because everyone thinks they're ready to invest, right? And so I get questions like this all the time, like, hey, D, listen, I got this really cool investment opportunity, right? And people want to call me up and want to sit down and like, hey, I want to explain this to you over a cup of coffee. And I'm like, okay, because I'm very entrepreneurial. I want to hear all these really cool, neat ideas. I love hearing about companies and startups and opportunities. And I want to be clear, I'm an investor. I do this. I invest in other people's companies. And I think for the most part, I know what I'm doing. I'm an accredited investor. I've won and I've lost probably about 50-50 when I'm invested in other people's companies. And it is not easy. And I want people to understand this because there's so much out there that I think is just bad information or marketing or press or sensationalized. And, you know, Shark Tank, I think, kind of promotes this. And I like Shark Tank. I think it's super cool, right? But I think everyone thinks they're this shark, right? And so it's funny. I was on LinkedIn the other day and I know this person and, you know, they're an athlete or whatever. And, you know, they have money. And it's like, oh, such and such athlete. I did this, that, and the other. Now I'm an investor entrepreneur. And I'm like, oh, really? Really, what did you invest in? You know, and I know these people, I know my friends, and I know what people, everyone wants to fancy themselves as an investor. Everyone wants to fancy themselves as this shark and this person who's very entrepreneurial. And, you know, they all think they're Ashton Kutcher and going to go and invest this and that and the other. They think they're Shaquille O'Neal. But listen, let me tell you what Shaq invests in. Shaq invests in Papa John's, right? Shaq invests in stuff that like people know and makes sense, right? Like everyone today wants to kind of be part of some new startup that's this crazy idea that's going to make millions. Or you probably heard this like, hey, it already has a $250,000 valuation, or it's got a $500 million valuation. And so it feels very exciting, right? Like, I can't believe this. My cousin's neighbor's best friend has a friend who's got an opportunity, and they're just spreading around, giving everyone this chance to invest $100,000 in this $1 billion valuation company. And I'm like, that's interesting, right? Let's hear about this, right? And listen, I'm not telling you this to make you shy away from these opportunities, but I'm telling you this because I really want you to be prudent and thoughtful about where and how you invest your money. Because I've done this a long time. Like I said, I do invest, but I don't know, and I mean this, like, I can't think of a person that I know that's not an active investor, not someone that's actually in this world and maybe owns companies and invests, you know, in a partnership with a competitor, or they go and buy someone that's similar, or they do a joint venture. Notwithstanding those people, I don't know a single just average Joe that's ever invested, you know, a significant amount of money in any of these startups and even gotten their money back. I'm not talking about they put in $50,000 and they got $1 million back. I'm talking about, I don't know anyone that doesn't do this kind of as their day job or as a business owner that's buying other similar businesses. I don't know anyone that's put in $50,000 and even gotten their money back. I mean, literally, it's gone. Everybody I know that's ever done this, that this isn't their day job, has lost their money. And the reason, there's a lot of reasons, right? But I'm just going to share some stuff that I want you to think about and understand and ponder. Number one, like, you have to understand the market that this company is in and what they do. And when I mean understand the market, I mean intimately understand everything about that company. So that's why I said I think there's some differences. If you're a business owner and you're looking at buying a competitor or you're looking at buying someone in an adjacent space, I think that's reasonable. I think you should consider that. But like if someone just comes up to you and says, hey, my cousin's neighbor's best friend's sister has this opportunity where you could put in $100,000 on $1 billion valuation, I have a lot of questions, right? Like you really need to get in and understand the market that this company's in. Why are they unique? What's the competition? You know, have they made any money yet? What's the concept? What's the IP behind it? How can the IP be not be knocked off? Why do they need money? Like all of these questions that you need to ask that is specific about the market. So I was in a meeting maybe 2 months back or so where a friend brought me along because he had one of these opportunities. And I actually met with these folks and listen, they were legit. They were the real deal. This wasn't, you know, some Johnny come lately. They had legit raised probably $2.5 million of real money, of people putting real dollars in. And I sat there and I know that I didn't understand their business. I didn't understand, you know, their competition. I didn't understand anything about their market. So I spent 2 hours and someone had brought us into that meeting who had sunk $500,000. I'm sorry, no, I think it was like $700,000 in to this particular company. And he brought us in because they're looking to raise more capital. And I started asking question after question after question after question. It was probably 2 hours of questions just trying to understand the market. And the person who had sunk like $700,000 in was sitting there with their jaw dropped down going, oh my gosh, why didn't I ask this? I don't even know. I have no idea any of these answers. I have no idea about our competition. I have no idea why we haven't gone to market yet. I have no idea how we're not going to get knocked off. Anyways, all of these different questions that literally are like, if you cannot be the smartest person in the room when it comes to doing this, like you shouldn't be putting your money in there. Like you really need to understand everything about this because you're taking your money and giving it to someone and trusting them that you're going to make money off of that, right? And then you're going to hear things like, oh, well, it's valued at, you know, $500 million. And we think inevitably our ears go up. Oh my gosh, I can be a billionaire. This is amazing. It goes from $500 million to $1 billion. It was like someone told me that 2 years ago, it was only worth $2 million. Now it's worth $500 million. Now it's, you know, if I could take it to $1 billion, I'm going to be a billionaire. Well, first off, a higher valuation is not necessarily a good thing, right? Because when people put their money in, you think $500 million to $1 billion. When you put your money in, you're only going to make money above what it's being valued at. So if that number is already overinflated, which I guarantee you it is overinflated, I guarantee you it's overinflated. If you go and put a valuation in at $500 million and it sells for $600 million, you're going, oh my gosh, it sold for $600 million. And you get a check for like this big, you're going to find out that it's because you only get money over what it's valued at currently. Oh, and there's something else. What about everyone who put their money into the beginning? That's generally put in at a preferred rate, right? And that preferred rate could have a different rate of return. So now, not only are you only going to make money on what it's valued over $500 million, you're only going to make money over what it's valued or over the $500 million minus the people who had it in at their preferred rate. So that number gets smaller and smaller and smaller. At the end, it might sell for $600,000 and you get nothing back. Literally, you could have put money in. It could have sold for more than it was valued and you literally walk away with $0. And that's because you don't understand the deal that you were getting into. And listen, there's so many things you have to understand, like what their current cash burn is. The same meeting that I was in, they were trying to raise $2 million. I was asking question after question after question after question. I found out that currently they are literally burning $300,000 a month. That's how much they were burning through. So every single month, they're minus $300,000, minus $300,000. And that's why they needed to raise capital at this, whatever. And I think it literally was $500 million. Well, they wanted to raise capital. They wanted to raise $2 million. They wanted me to put in $2 million, right? But what did I say was burning a month? $300,000. So I'm going to put in $2 million. And 7 months from now, you're going to be out of money. What are you going to do? Like raise more capital then? Like what's going to happen between now and 7 months from now that not only are you not burning $300,000, but we're actually making money so that the company can actually grow past this pseudo inflated valuation that you have, right? And that's why this is so complicated and so complex. So like I would highly caution you on putting money in to investments in businesses that you don't understand, that you're not intimately familiar with the type of business that it is, the competitive landscape, the people that are running it, the cash flow situation that the company's in. Have they even sold anything? Is this still in concept? Do they own the IP? Do they own the technology? Or are they trying to own the technology? Is there anything that could keep someone from stealing the idea and someone put in all this work and all this effort in research and development, and then another company comes in 2 years later and literally just says, oh, that's a really great idea. And they copy what that company does. Investing in other companies is very difficult. I highly encourage you to say, if you are someone who wants to invest, start your own company, invest in yourself. Or if you're not ready to do that, do your 401k, invest in your 401k, invest in real estate, stuff that you can touch, see, feel. It's land, it's tangible, it's a house, it's something that you can see, it's something that you can understand. It might not be sexy, it might not be this crazy valuation, but if you haven't maxed out your IRA or your 401k, why are you looking to invest in anything else? If you haven't bought a house, why would you be looking to invest in someone's business that could literally blow through your money? Do the easy, smart things first before you look at, putting it all on black, because I'm going to tell you what, it is possible, right? I'm sure there are people out there. I haven't met them, but I'm sure there are people out there who have taken $50,000 and put it into a company and made $1 billion. But you could also take $50,000, drive to Vegas, put it all on the roulette table, and probably make close to that as well. So listen, I'm the Whiteboard Entrepreneur. I hope you take this advice. Be very shrewd when it comes to investing your money in other people's businesses. I hope this helps.